Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's episode on Laid Back to Ati Rezenga podcast. And today we'll be talking about heartbreaks. Today we'll be talking to Chisom. Hello, Chisom.
Hello, I'm there.
How
How's it
are
going?
you? It's
I'm very good.
It's all right. How have you been?
So, the usual.
So which one is so? What's the usual?
Now, like I'm not wonderful, but I'm not like depressed or anything. I'm just existing.
You're just in the middle.
The human condition, exactly.
Which one is the human condition?
It's the human condition now.
Yeah, I think I've heard that somewhere, but I can't remember where I saw that.
And by John Bellion, I think. Well, the song is based on like an expression,
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But anyway, today we'll be talking about heartbreaks. So you just mentioned John Bellion. John Bellion, I think, did a number of songs about heartbreaks, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I'm not particularly a fan. I just know that.
Yeah.
An album called The Human Condition or something along those lines. But I'm not like, John Bellion. Oh yeah, I know he does sing about heartbreak from time to time.
Yeah. So let's start off that way. So what do you think? Have you ever been heartbroken before?
I don't think he gets to my age without having experienced like heartbreak along the way, Heartbreak. Yeah, I have experienced heartbreak. I think.
And what do you think?
Even I think we have to. Sometimes our egos are just hot, and we think we are heartbroken. So that distinction is not always easy to make. But sometimes your ego is just hot. You're like, I dated you, and why wasn't I good enough? Because heartbreak, you have to love broken by whatever the person does.
Yeah, you have a point actually. Sometimes I don't think it's heartbreak. You have a point there. Sometimes it's actually just that your ego is hurt or bruised.
Exactly.
And we take it so personal.
And sometimes we feel like we have to perform these things, right?
Perform.
Right? So, like a relationship, and then you're like, can this just you're mourning the end of your relationship, not necessarily that your heart is broken. I think heartbreak is a different thing. Like it's, I think I remember I've described heartbreak once to my I think one of my sisters as, like I said, it felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. There's actually
a big one or a small elephant?
A very big elephant.
All right.
A big elephant. I think there is this actual pain. You actually do feel like your heart is hurting. I think that there's a thing called heartbreak syndrome, also, where you die or you wither away because you're heartbroken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have experienced heartbreak. Have you experienced heartbreak, Alonso?
Yeah. I think I've said this on the podcast before, because I did another episode on heartbreaks with another guy, so it's good for me to do with a girl and get the female perspective. But I think I've been heartbroken just once, and so maybe you're right. Maybe other times, maybe it's just your ego being bruised or something. But I wouldn't call it heartbreak. But I think I've just been heartbroken just once. And after then, I said, nah, it's never gonna happen again.
No, you shouldn't let your guard up. You should still stay open.
No, I wouldn't say. No. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say my guard is up. I would just say that I'm actually wise and I make better decisions. That's all. I wouldn't say that my guard is up. But,
and yet, isn't heartbreak one of those factors that are like beyond our control? So many things you can control in life.
No, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. For example, if you talk to the when we're younger, let's be honest, there are certain things we can't decipher for ourselves, but now that you're much older, you can talk to somebody just once or twice and you know that you can't vibe with this person or you can't click no matter what. You can tell. So you don't really push for the relationship, kind of. But when you're younger, you don't really see these things, so you end up throwing yourself into the deep end, and at the end of the day, you might end up hurting yourself. That's my point.
I like that expression. You said you throw yourself into the deep end, and I think that is what you do every time you decide to enter into a relationship, because you're not. There are no guarantees.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But when you're younger, it's different compared to when you're smarter and wiser. When you're smarter and wiser, by just one conversation or two, you can actually tell yourself, nah, this is not gonna work.
But you're not like clairvoyant now. You can't, be a man for the future. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Well,
I think you take a chance every time you give somebody like certain. You give somebody your heart to use a very quaint expression.
No doubt, nobody is perfect, but like the point I'm trying to make is, I don't know. I'm just gonna use myself. So I don't know what it's like for other people. I'm a bit intuitive, and if I talk to people, my head is already calculating so many things in my head. I won't lie. I'm collecting a lot of thoughts in my head, and I can tell. No matter what happens, I can tell if we do this, we do that. This is how it's gonna end.
You can tell if the person is going to break your heart.
Not necessarily break my heart, but I can tell that. Maybe we're not gonna get along after a while, or it's not gonna last. I can tell.
Can you tell if the person is going to cheat? Like, for example, in future, the person is going to cheat on you.
Sometimes the signs are there, but like I said, nothing is certain. There are always
exactly
outliers.
That's the point. You always take a chance with every relationship.
Exactly.
And not just romantic relationships.
You're not good.
I said, I'm not just like romantic relationships. Whenever
friendships, everything you do. Because the truth is, it's called heartbreak, and it hurts because these are people you trust and you love, whether it's friendship or whatever. So that's why it hurts, because these are people you bring close to you.
Of heartbreak that people like underestimate, like dismiss, right? Friendship heartbreak. When you lose a friend, it can hurt sometimes even more than when it's the end of a romantic relationship. At least that's my opinion, because I value my friends a whole lot. Like, that's another type of heartbreak.
But I think the friendship one actually hurts a lot, but a lot of people don't like talking about it, because when it comes to friendship, for example, there's this thing I used to do with my friends when I was younger. So like, for example, if any of us goes for a girl and the girl turns him down, we end up singing this song Deuces. Deuces of
the boys are so mean.
Yeah, exactly. And we end up singing Deuces to the person. It will be mean to another person who is an outsider, but it will end up laughing, and you see that the person will be so happy, like not happy per se, but you see the person, there will be a smile on the person's face, and will end up drinking, and life goes on. The point I'm trying to make is, so just imagine that scenario where we bonded a lot with that kind of song and with that kind of scenario, because silly things we did, and all of a sudden we start losing, and all of a sudden we are four, let's say we are four in that group, and at the end of the day we end up maybe something happens and we end up like beefing each other and hating each other, and the friendship dies off. Trust me, it's gonna hurt everybody. Everybody's gonna be hurt. So like there are certain, I don't think like I said, I don't think
it's a very deep kind of, I think we don't talk about that kind of hurt enough.
We don't, but it's something we actually need to talk about, because that kind of that can lead to like the heartbreak can be worse. The friendship heartbreak can be, because you guys share a deep bond. You guys have done a lot of things together. Like there's so many stupid things and silly things you guys have done together. You've gone through
relationships together.
Exactly. As a typical able woman that you are, so you know you've broken people's hearts then.
And I said I don't know where that stereotype is from. Able women are very nice. But like I think everybody has broken somebody's heart at some point. Maybe you just rejected someone. Like,
I agree.
You didn't know how deep it cut. So everybody, I don't want to be cliche, but Nigeria, the breakfast, it goes round.
It goes.
everybody go chop.
At least the only thing now, it depends on how the breakfast is being served, whether it's served in bed or maybe on the table. But everybody has been served breakfast.
Last.
You eat last. You eat last, and you serve as well.
You just, and that's another thing. And that's another thing that can even help you to heartbreak. I think you just remind yourself it's your turn. Like everybody, this is an experience that is very universal. You're not alone. As your heart's broken in Akure, there's someone in Lagos that is also heartbroken. There's someone in Australia that is going through the same thing. I don't know. Maybe that might offer some comfort, or not. I don't know.
There's someone in Australia who has done what?
Who is eating his own too now. Well, he's eating his marmalade and toast.
So this is a case of misery loves company then.
Exactly.
But why does misery love company? That's another topic on its own. Why does
No,
misery love company?
I think we just look for points of nexus with others, So you're happy, you want to be with other happy people. I think happiness also loves company. It's not just misery.
Yeah, but
that's why we have expressions like "don't be a downer," "don't be a wet packet," "don't bring me down to your level." I mean, everybody likes shared emotions.
Yeah,
I don't know.
True. I agree. You have a point there. But anyway, that's deviating from our topic anyway. So we're still focusing on heartbreaks and breakfast. So what do you think? So what do you think in general? We've talked about friendship and the breakfast that come the heartbreak that comes with your like friendships ending. We talked about heartbreaks that come with relationships ending as well. So is there anything you think one can do to actually prevent this breakfast?
No, I don't think. Okay, so doctors will tell you that pain is how you know that you're alive. You get.
Yeah.
I never feel more alive than when I'm experiencing a deep like emotion, and heartbreak is an emotion as well.
Yeah.
I don't think you should seek to prevent heartbreak, because that would mean maybe isolating yourself on like an island and living by yourself.
Yeah.
These are all this is how you know you're alive, right? You love, you cry, you fight, you make up, you get heartbroken, and you keep going. I don't think anybody should seek. Yeah, you should protect yourself from like toxic relationships and all of that, but I don't think you should go through life being like, oh, I don't want to feel anything. We're not unfeeling robots.
You're not unfeeling.
We're not unfeeling. We're not robots. We're human beings. So I think feeling is nice.
No. It's always good to have emotions. But some people are emotional and some others are not.
I think I'd rather be emotional. I think I'm emotional and I embrace it.
So do you cry?
Emotions. I cry all the time. In fact, I even cried yesterday.
Why?
It's incredibly cathartic.
Why? Why did you cry?
You feel better after crying. More often than not.
Like what made you cry?
Why did I even cry? So what was I watching? I think I was watching it. I was probably watching a TV show. TV shows, I don't know. Art of any type provokes a lot of emotions in me. It's the weirdest thing. So it was a very sad scene, and I cried, and I always feel better. Like I don't understand. Like when I won't see somebody crying and I'll be like, stop crying. I don't do that. I know it might be a little bit strange, but I know how much better and how clear-headed I feel after a good bout of weeping. So when people are crying, I just look at them, which might make me look like a psychopath. Well, I think it pays off. Seriously, I think you should be allowed to feel. Yeah.
That's interesting. But in our African context, men are actually taught and molded in such a way that they were told, no, you're not supposed to cry. A man is not supposed to cry and show emotions. So
they're not supposed to, but they feel things, but they don't show. And then people always, I'm sure when you said emotional just now, you meant crying and expressing softness. Well, there is a whole spectrum of emotion, right?
True, I agree.
Which is why I always find it so funny when people say men are not emotional, that is just not true. Men get angry. They feel pride.
Yeah.
They might not cry because they think it's weakness, but they feel all these things.
Yeah, because you have a point.
Same way women do.
You have a point there because people tend to forget that envy, jealousy, all these things are part of
emotions.
They're all emotions. And people feel like naturally, we all feel these things one way or the other. It's just left. Okay, for example, when I was growing up, I made this conscious effort to make sure I kick away envy, especially envy from my not kick it entirely out of my emotions, because envy and jealousy, for example, there's this theory I always say. I noticed when I was growing up, I noticed that people who are below are always talking about people who are above them, kind of. For example, if you had drivers when you were growing up, servants or whatever, you notice they're always talking about the Oga and Madam and the family. If you notice it. Whereas you guys,
aspirational.
Like maybe even if it's not aspirational, but it could be something that maybe they don't like what the Oga is doing to them or Madam, whatever, but they're always talking about those people. This is what I mean. Whereas the Oga and the Madam are so focused about other things, maybe their own family friends or whatever. This is what I mean. So that's what Exactly.
My father says that is like how did he put it again? That as opposed to talking about people, you should try to talk about ideas.
Yeah.
They're talking about people is a very petty pastime.
It's a very, definitely, trust me, it's a very petty pastime, but we all do it without knowing because gossip is sweet.
Yeah, of course.
No, we all do it without knowing, but like I would rather talk about ideas. But if you are the kind of person that talks about ideas all the time, you come off as a boring person because people don't like talking about ideas all the time. Anyway, let's be honest.
How many of us have original ideas, really? You know, what are you going to say that nobody has heard before?
Trust me, a lot of us do. A lot of people do.
Well,
a lot of people are very authentic and creative. I've met a lot of people who are authentic and creative. But the thing is, the point I'm trying to make is gossip and talking about people. A lot of people bond through gossip. I'm not saying it's good, but what I'm trying to say is easier for people to bond with you and relate to you if you're talking about the same thing. Whereas I could be talking about, for example, let's say I meet you now and I'm talking about cryptocurrency. Yes, I'm so interested in cryptocurrency. You find me interesting, but it may end up not bonding too much. But if you end up talking about maybe celebrities, people you've seen in TV shows, will end up bonding. You see my point? It's not necessarily that you want to gossip about it, but it's easier for people to bond over such things than when I'm talking about cryptocurrency or maybe about this book I read and you haven't read it. You see what I mean? I'm not saying those things they don't make you interesting. No, they do. But it's easier to bond with people with such things rather than ideas. So I don't think anybody talks about ideas all the time.
Yeah, of course not.
Exactly. So I get the point. Like, you can't be talking about people all the time because I believe if you are talking about people all the time that you are low status. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. Because you can't be talking about people all the time. People talk about people all the time. I just gave an analogy at people who are actually low status. That although we're talking about the ogas and the madams, that shouldn't be your life. That shouldn't be what you are focused on. That's not life. You should be focused
everybody on channel E is low status.
Which channel E?
Channel now. Is that not the celebrity gossip channel? So the generation is low status. Anyway, we're talking about Heartbreak anyways.
Anyway, we're debating from the whole thing, but
yeah.
So the point here is, so when we talk about Heartbreak, how do you handle maybe like a friend or a sister or brother or cousin, whoever, like anybody who's close to you who is heartbroken and you are in the same proximity with the person? How do you handle it? How do you help the person?
Really, really hard. So I'm not a very sensitive person, unfortunately.
Okay.
You guys, like, I'm not a sensitive person. I just I don't know. Sometimes the best thing I can do is to remove myself from the situation because I might make it worse.
So why do you think
understand?
so? Why do you think you're a sensitive person?
I think everybody should know their strengths. You get, some people just tend to say the wrong things at the wrong time, and yeah, I do that when people are like vulnerable. I don't think I'm very good people who when they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
But if say my brother was heartbroken, what would I do? Oh, the first thing I always say: if somebody breaks your heart, block that person everywhere. Now,
does that work?
It works for me. Like, it's like magic. I swear to God. Like, block them everywhere. Forget about how it makes you look. You're guarding your this. You're guarding your social media pages and your phone and your whatever. That is your space, and you have to guard it. You understand? So that you don't get triggered. You might just be scrolling happily on Instagram. Next thing, you just see the person, and then all those feelings like are they again. So that's the first thing I always say: block them everywhere. And then don't do that kind of soft blocking where you leave them with one way to access you. You know what I'm talking about now? You block them on Facebook, block them on Instagram, then you pretend you forgot to block them on Twitter, hoping that they'll reach out. No, block them everywhere. Delete, remove every trace of that. At least I'm talking about what works for me.
But you know, I don't really believe in blocking anybody.
Oh, I block. Why not?
Like I only block people who block me. I don't block anybody. If you're
actually going through heartbreak and not like hot, like your ego is hot. If your heart is actually hurting and this person makes your heart hot, why would you want to keep seeing that person?
You can mute, but you can mute the person or just delete the person. You don't have to block.
Okay, your problem is with the person knowing, the person being aware that they have been blocked and then feeling some sort of power. right?
Yeah, like I can actually
I don't
delete
care.
you.
Feel whatever you want to feel. I don't care. It's not my business. I'm no longer responsible for your feelings. In fact, that's the good thing about the relationship. And then some people will people come and be like, why did you block me? No, it's not that serious. Don't listen to them. Block them. Block. There's someone on Instagram that said block your block. And I think that's the best advice, right? In those days, you would write when you're heartbroken, you walk through life without a trigger, right? Like you get your heart broken in the morning, and in the afternoon you go for lectures. The only thing is that maybe you notice that the love letter you used to get before,
Yeah,
you don't get it as often. But now you just be scrolling on Instagram next thing you see their wedding picture. Come on, nobody needs that.
You'll be hot, yeah.
Exactly, guard your space. Be selfish as much as possible.
Well,
Because that's just what I think. And I've had a friend do something like this too, and then I had to understand. You get, like, I hurt somebody's feelings, and then they stopped reaching out. Someone I used to be very, very close to, and I remember like being so hot about it until someone told me this person is protecting their space. They're doing what is best for them. You're doing what is best for you, and they're doing what is best for them. And you're the one who did the hurting, so shouldn't you be like understanding? That's what I think. The first thing you should do is block them. The second thing,
I agree, because if you hurt people and they block you, you should accept it because you actually messed up.
Don't go and be asking them, why did you block me now? It's not that serious. I thought we can be friends. God will punish you. Seriously, that is so unfair. That is so selfish.
Yeah. But you said it earlier on. You said we're all selfish.
No. That is so. I think our degree of selfishness should increase or reduce depending on certain factors. Yeah. In this case, you hurt somebody, but you want that person to keep on seeing your picture and to keep on being hurt and to keep on encountering you in their day-to-day life, and they're just trying to survive the heartbreak. I think, like some people, and like I said, everything always comes down to ego. Why do you want the person to be there watching you? Why is it so important to you? You don't want them in your life. Allow them to move on. Honestly.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
block.
But I don't exactly. I think, like I said, human beings, they just like this thing. Like, it's an ego thing. They get ego trip that they can see they can influence you and your emotions.
Exactly. They want to see how quickly you're viewing their story, even after they're broken your heart.
Yeah. So the best thing to do is either you view their story, or you just mute them and just move on. Like, I don't
Muting
think
them is not enough. Honestly.
No, don't get me wrong. All I'm trying to say
is, should I tell you what blocking does?
What?
So when you block someone, it will take like a certain kind of shamelessness for you to go and unblock them.
Yeah.
And then follow them back.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what it does. If you meet somebody, you can still one day, if you might forget, and then you now reach out, you might go. But that's blocking them for a very long time. It does this thing, like you can't reach out and be like, oh, what's up? Just you up. If they send you up text, you can't even. You know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah.
You up. Send you those texts.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because they're regret breaking your heart, but because they are bored.
True.
So those texts will not deliver.
Yeah.
Just live your life.
True.
Until you break somebody's heart and they block you too. Like I said, life is in a cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think. And then another thing you can do. For me, I watch a lot of TV shows. Unfortunately, I watch when I'm very hot, I watch a lot of comedies. Like The Office. I don't know that you watch that as well.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But I find a distraction. I read a book. Just find things to keep you busy. I hang out with my friends. Things that make you happy.
So when you hang out with your friends, you guys end up saying all sorts of rubbish about the person to make you feel good.
Like that. My friends don't take my side like that. Like Chisom. I don't really have those type of friends, unfortunately. I wish I did.
Okay. They are the kind of friends that will tell you messed up here, you messed up there.
I don't know. Yeah, kind of. Like, I think it's only in movies that women. We're very like we ask a lot of each other. You get?
Yeah.
It's not like guys that'll be like, no mind that girl. Nah, women don't behave like that.
Guys don't do like that as well. It depends on how the kind of friends you have as well.
Anyways, yeah, maybe that is it. But my friends they're not just going to take my side.
Yeah, but you know, I think it's a mindset thing because I've met guys and I've met girls who believe when relationships end that it can never be their fault, it's the other person's fault. Some people are just wired out. I don't know why. So it's a mindset thing. They can't help it. That's the way they think.
Like that lack of accountability. That's probably why the relationship ended, Sha.
Fair because accountability is a problem for most of us. We don't like to take responsibility. Even when we are hurting other people, we believe they'll come around. But you know the thing that I've noticed about humans. I've said this to you before, but you know, when we do things to people, sometimes we don't understand the extent until the person does the same thing back to us, and then we'll start complaining.
Yes.
And then we'll start complaining.
Yes,
this person is
absolutely.
mean. This person is this. Like, because for example, I've tried this thing before. Like, I made this rule, this pact to myself that I'll always start with kindness whenever I'm dealing with anybody. But I realized, like, for example, when you're kind to people and they start messing up, and maybe you tell them, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that. Some instead of taking the correction, you know, some people are just weird. When you correct them, that's when they start doing it more. I don't know why. They'll start doing it over and over again to piss you off. Yeah. And then when you now do the same thing back to them, then they'll start telling you, this person is so mean, this person is this. But it is your behavior that I'm actually just mirroring back to you. That's all. There's no difference.
You make such a good point. So when I was like much younger, right, I used to be very, very insensitive. I have a friend. If I shout out to her if she listens to this, she still has my number saved on her phone as Heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Right. So I think Heartbreak made me develop a certain kind of empathy towards the people that I go into relationships with. I didn't used to have that. I used to treat people anyhow, and that's one thing. Heartbreak can actually make you grow. It can be a force for good. I'm telling you, there are women for example, always like embark on self-improvement. Immediately after maybe they hit the gym, they start reading, they get a degree. You understand? They level up after heartbreak, so that can be a good thing.
I agree because it's something everybody like the thing. I just believe that heartbreaks even though they can be so hurtful, but it also gives you not every heartbreak because some will make you feel like you are less than a human being, but it's not necessary. Not all when relationships end, not all of them are your fault, but when they end,
I don't think it's ever really anybody's fault.
No. Yeah, I get your point, but you know, sometimes some people end up saying, is it that I'm not good enough for him or her? Is it this? Is it that? Like, it's sometimes it's not about you.
You can't take it personally.
Yes, you can't. The person is the person may be dealing with a lot of insecurity issues, his or her own demons, so many things that can be the problem. It's not about you.
Where they always pretend like every heartbreak is like that the guy has lost something very special that he'll never get back.
That's a lie.
They'll be like, oh my god, he can never get this back. He has lost the best thing he ever had.
See, I like that you mentioned it. There's this thing women do that makes me laugh all the time. Women always think that when you like them, that you always like them, that they'll have this power over you, and it makes me laugh. It makes no sense. So whenever, like now, maybe maybe things end, they'll keep on checking to see if you are hurt, and then if you've moved on, you're happy. Then they get angry that you're happy. That's not a female
thing. I can tell you, men do
that
as well. Yes.
So why would anybody be angry?
Once you look, no, it's not anger. It's an equal thing. Thing. So you can not want someone, but you still want the attention they give you. You still want that validation that you get from the attention. And then when you lose that, I don't even think it makes you a bad person. It's just human nature. It's like when someone is like a girl is pursuing a guy, and then she just stops pursuing him. Come on, you're going to feel some type of way. All these things are just human nature. But we tend to like make the person into a villain. They're not. They're just being human. The trick is not to fall for it. To just be like, I'm not going to cater to your ego. You know, it's not. gender specific thing. I think it's just an ego thing. I'm sure you've even done it. Anyway, let's not personalize things.
Okay. Let's not personalize anything. But so like I said, a lot of people just end up thinking, oh, maybe it is my fault. That's why. No, I just want
sometimes it's actually partially your fault. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Sometimes.
So
but all I'm trying to say is, it's not all the time.
It's not all the time.
Like, because sometimes some people will start thinking, hey, it's my fault. I did this. I did that. Sometimes you could even do everything right, and see something that's not for you. That's not gonna work.
It's not for you. So and then what's the alternative to heartbreak? What is the alternative for people to just be with people they don't want to be with because they don't want to break them? Like, you want a hostage situation. You understand? I think you should just view it as an opportunity to grow.
I have this theory, and people always ask. I don't get it. I don't think there's any need for you to be with somebody you are trying to manage. If you don't like the person deep down, you know you don't like the person like that. Why would you want to be with the person? I don't get it.
What is liking the person like that?
Like, you see some people.
You don't get butterflies.
No, you don't have to get butterflies, but you might see people like they talk to people and they don't really like them. So because the first option didn't work out, they say, okay, let's give a chance to the second. They don't really like the person like that.
You know the funny thing, sometimes that works out.
How many of our
mothers were in love with our fathers when they married them? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I think relationships are more of a choice than anything else. And I feel like we've had this discussion before. I think you're just choosing. People choose to stick it out, to be in a relationship, not because chemistry is very, very fleeting. It passes. I think I've read somewhere that chemistry wears out. Is it in the first 3 or 4 years of marriage, for example? At some point, it becomes like a choice.
Okay.
I don't know whether that makes any sense. So we just choose to stick it out because you think this person is worth it, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe if you decide that they're not, then I don't know.
So if you decide they're not, so what happens then?
That's the heartbreak we are discussing. That's the breakfast we are discussing now. The person will chop breakfast.
so the person will be served breakfast, or the person is going to serve you breakfast.
Hot breakfast. That's just it. If you decide they're not okay, or they can actually serve you, because maybe you stop trying because you're like, this person self, and then the person notices you've stopped trying and it's not okay. The lack of consistency, they're like, no, I'm not going to stand for it, and then heartbreak happens or not. Sometimes the relationship ends and your heart is not broken. That's the truth. And most of us need to tell ourselves the truth. Sometimes when a relationship ends, your heart is not broken. Your ego is just hurt. Maybe you feel like you've wasted your time, right? Then you just tag it heartbreak. When your heart is broken, trust me, you will know.
Yeah, true.
You will feel it.
True.
There was, last, I think 2 Decembers ago, I thought I was heartbroken. And then I went for Megan Thee Stallion's concert in Lagos. I swear, and at the end of that night, I did not even remember. Like, I was like, could this be, is this the same person? And then it turns out that my ego was just hot.
Yeah. So, but you're right. Most of the time, I think it's just the ego that's hot.
Yeah.
I think it's just the ego.
And it's also fine. If your ego is hot, it's fine. I think people should feel their feelings. Feel what you feel. Identify what you feel and then feel it. Be like, my ego is hot. Why am I not good enough? I'm good enough, Jerry. Leave that one. And then you move on. Feel what you feel. It's all this denial that makes life difficult.
Yeah. But because the positive and the negative feelings are actually important for you to feel. Like, take your time. Because sometimes what actually happens is everybody is trying as much as possible. It is and when anything happens, we say it is what it is, and we try to push it away and focus on positive feelings. But sometimes just feel the bad feelings. Make sure feel it.
Envy. I don't necessarily think jealousy and envy are those evil things to feel. That is
no.
If you're jealous, right? It's just how it just is. You can't help it, right?
Yeah.
Then the question is, you now have to ask yourself, why am I jealous?
Exactly.
Right?
So
can I do better to level up?
Exactly.
That's it. It's what you do that matters. I don't think what you feel matters as what you do.
Exactly, because once you try to define your emotions and understand why you feel what you feel, it makes it easier. Because for example, let's say for example, your friend is progressing in a particular field, and we're human beings, you might be jealous, and you start telling yourself, "Oh, I wish it was me." It's not for you to like snap out of it and tell yourself, "Nah, I can actually do it." Yeah, exactly. I can actually do that. I can actually do better.
Where there's a problem is when you start treating that friend somehow. But I think it's fine to be jealous.
Exactly. So when you are jealous and you try to understand it and make sense of it, I still tell that your friend, make sure that you're actually happy for that your friend. You see what I mean? Because this is the hard part for most of us. They can't hide their jealousy and envy. Once something happens.
So do you know what I do sometimes? I can't feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell my friend, "Oh my God, I'm so jealous." Do you get what I mean? I feel like it helps. And then your friend will be like, "Oh, are you serious? Why now?" And then you laugh about it or whatever. But I'm not going to pretend to be happy for you when I'm not happy for you, even though I tend to be happy for people, generally speaking. But I don't know. If I'm jealous, I'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm so jealous." Oh my God, or I'll just see you. I'll be like, "Oh my, I'm really, really pissed off at you. Like, see this thing." And then sometimes when you talk about these things, but you just.
But you know those negative emotions. A lot of us don't try to actually feel it. We try to
suppress it
because there are very, very bad connotations to them. So you start feeling. Imagine, how can Chisom be feeling envious of this person? How can Chisom be feeling so jealous of this? You see what I mean? Because of the negative connotation that comes with it, like we don't really
but
like
we don't really want to feel it.
Yeah, exactly. We don't really like to accept that we feel that way.
The problem with suppressing feelings is sometimes you should definitely feel so maybe I don't know if that works for you, but I think these things tend to find an outlet in other ways, and then you might hurt people who are innocent.
Yeah.
Who haven't done anything to you.
Yeah.
So,
but like
it's like a kettle that is boiling. The point is it's going to spill over.
Yeah.
So
because like just like you said, I try as much as possible, no matter what happens. I try to be happy for people. Everybody can't do these things at the same time. If maybe your friends are doing,
try and you can't be happy.
What?
What if you try to be happy, man? Like you don't succeed.
I've never tried and I didn't succeed. It's a conscious effort I made because maybe I think so highly of myself. I don't know. Like this is how I see myself since I think so highly.
Okay. That's. But what do I even envy? Think about it. What do I envy? I think I envy people's achievements. Definitely.
Yeah.
If I see.
Yeah, that's why I hate LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn makes you feel bad.
Oh, LinkedIn is the worst. LinkedIn is the worst. I saw a dog outside of an office, and when I entered the office, the dog was my interviewer. I hate those stories. It pisses me off.
Because LinkedIn makes you feel so bad.
Like you're not doing anything.
You're not doing enough. You're not doing anything.
LinkedIn is worse than Instagram. People say that Instagram is so toxic.
No.
Because fine girls are post, and I'm like, what? Go on LinkedIn. You feel like you.
No. Instagram is not even. And the thing about LinkedIn is, they say there's fake life on Instagram, but there's a lot of fake stories on LinkedIn that people don't even talk about. But that's by the way. The point I'm trying to make is for you to actually, I'm a very, very introspective and I wouldn't say I don't think I do a lot of reflections, but I do a lot of introspection. Because, for example, if I think I am fucking up, I tend to go deep down and ask myself, why am I actually feeling this way towards this guy? Is it because he's smarter than me, or he is this than me, or is you see what I mean? I tend to question myself, and once I think I've found the question deep down, then I ask myself, okay, but you can actually, there's this thing I say to people all the time. I don't really have time to be a hater. Because I feel like that time you spend on being a hater, you can actually use it to develop yourself. Honestly. That time you actually spend your time saying, Chisom is this, Chisom is that. You know that if you actually put in effort, maybe it's that because Chisom maybe is a very smart. So this is where we're gonna round off. So do you want to add anything else? before we end?
What do I want to add? I think, well, if you're going through heartbreak, just remember it's going to end. That's all.
Yeah.
There's always light at the end of the tunnel to be cliche.
You meet other people.
Exactly.
You meet other people. Everybody's
and then
gonna
one
be
day
fine.
you look at that person and you feel nothing. Seriously.
You feel nothing, yeah?
Yeah, that's the truth. Like you look and then you might even laugh at yourself.
Why did I
That's
fall
nice.
for this person?
And or why was this so serious to me? Why was I being so melodramatic? Honestly.
That's true. That's true. Well, on that note, this is where we're gonna end. Thank you, Chisom, for coming on the show.
This has been so much fun.
Let's
do it again soon.
So do you want to do it again then?
Yeah, sure thing. I'm down.
Okay, hopefully we're gonna do it again. Anyway, thank you for coming on and have a lovely evening.
You as well. Thanks.